Have you voted in the online Scotch Whisky Awards? If not, what I think you should do before carrying any further into this video is you should go into the description of this video, click on the link for the OSWA's website, go ahead and vote. Voting closes very soon on October 20th. I want to make sure you have your say, and I don't want you to be swayed by any opinions you hear in this video, because what we're going to be doing in this video is we're going to be actually going ahead and I'm going to be voting for who I think should win each category in the online Scotch Whisky Awards. I'm also going to tell you who I think will actually win the categories to give you some predictions. And then after all is said and done, we can all debate in the comments down below who's right and who's wrong. Probably me, I'm probably wrong, but we can get to that. But yeah, vote if you haven't already. Come back to the video and we'll have a bunch of fun. My name is Matt. This is Whiskey on the West Coast. Thanks for coming back after voting, or if you've already voted or if voting's closed, thanks for watching the video. We're gonna have lots of fun debating these in the comments, I'm sure, but let's get to voting right away in the first category, which is Best Value Whiskey for the OSWA's 2024. All right, our nominees are Ardnamurchan AD release, 46.8% ABV, 47 pounds is the cost in the UK on that. That's around $60 to $70 Canadian in my market. Benromach 10-year-old, 43% ABV, 42 pounds in the UK. You can get that on sale around $48, $50 Canadian, or regular price in the 60s to low 70s. Really great valued bottle there. The Craigellachie 13-year-old, 46% ABV, 54 pounds in the UK, or about $50 Canadian on sale here. We have a fantastic price, $80 about for regular price. Glengarry 12-year-old, 48% ABV, 52 pounds in the UK. And again, about $67, $70 here in BC, and you can get it on sale even lower in Alberta. From the Glen Distillery, Kilkerran 12-year-old, 46% ABV. It's 50 pounds in the UK. This is the most expensive one in the category where I live. It can range anywhere from $90 to $120 Canadian. So actually almost twice some of these other whiskeys. And then finally, from the Tobermory Distillery, Ledaig 10-year-old, 46.3% ABV. It's 40 pounds in the UK, and it runs anywhere between about $60 to $75 here in Canada. So who am I going to vote for here? Well, let's talk this through. I actually own all 6 of these bottles right now. I love my Ardnamurchan AD release. It's actually on the heel right now. I would love to replace that in the future, and will do so absolutely. So bottle I'll probably always keep on the shelf. Great ABV, great presentation, non-chill filtered natural color. The price is a little bit higher than some of the other ones here, and while I love that whiskey, I don't think it's my value pick. Benromach 10-year-old is one of my favorites. It was in my top 10 value whiskeys video. It's actually one of the first whiskeys I reviewed, and I love the sweet, low to medium peat profile of a bit of funkiness, lots of fruits. Lovely whiskey. 43% ABV is a little low if we're talking value with the price. It is one of the lowest prices, 42 pounds. I love the way the whiskey is presented, but I just think there are other things in this category that beat it on the value prospect. I'm going to talk about Glengarry 12-year-old. For ABV, it's actually giving you the most in your bottle at 48%, but while I love the profile, it has the color added. I don't fuss too much about the color. 52 pounds though is on the higher side compared to the one I think should win this category. Same with Kilkerran 12. Great presentation, beautiful bottling, but it is so much more in price compared to the winner for me. Ledaig 10-year-old is, again, great value actually, for probably the best value heavily peated whiskey out there at this time at 40 pounds in the UK, $60 to $75 here in Canada. Love the presentation. I visited the distillery. It's a gorgeous place, beautiful setting, and I really do have a place in my heart for the Tobermory Distillery. It's also the first whiskey I ever reviewed on the channel. So again, something that's really near and dear to my heart. But my winner, the one I'm going to vote for, is this Craigellachie 13-year-old. And why? It's a great example of a worm tub distillate. It has this lovely spirit sulfur, this nice funk, great fruity and malty balance to the whiskey. I really adore that whiskey. It is much cheaper in Canada than it is in the UK. 54 pounds in the UK is sub $50 Canadian whenever I've bought it on sale out of Alberta. That is an insane price. When it's regular price, it's still only about $80, a price I already probably would pay for it if it didn't go on sale all the time. Hopefully Bacardi doers, you're not listening. However, Craigellachie 13, they're going to get my vote. Now, who do I think is going to win the category? Who's my prediction? Because I would vote for Craigellachie, but we're talking every market on the face of this planet that has single malt Scotch whiskey in it and has people voting. I'm going to suggest that the Ledaig 10-year-old should take this prize home. I think it's got broad distribution. I think whiskey lovers love it. I think we all appreciate what it brings in a value for money, like peated whiskey. I think it's really tough to beat. And with it being £40 in the UK, that price actually seems really low. Again, by £2, the lowest price whiskey in this category. OSWA's coming out of the gate swinging. Wow, that's a tough category. It was really tough for me to be able to pick my vote. But those are mine right there. Who I think should win, who I think will win. Next category is Best Blended Whiskey. So the nominees are going to be Compass Box's Glasgow Blend Blended Scotch, 43% ABV. A really awesome blend. The Hibiki Harmony Blended Japanese Whiskey, also 43% ABV. Maclean's Nose Blended Scotch Whiskey, 46% ABV from the Ardnamurchan Distillery. We got the Thompson Brothers TBBSW 6-year-old Blended Scotch Whiskey, 46% ABV. Turntable Bittersweet Symphony Blended Scotch at 46%, and then Woven Super Blend Blended Scotch at 46.1% ABV. Okay, so what I can tell you right out the top here is I have had 5 of these 6 whiskeys. The one I have not had is Woven Super Blend Blended Scotch. I feel like as long as I've had probably 3 to 4 of the whiskeys in these categories, I feel confident in voting. So I will be voting in this category, even though I have not had the Woven. So I'm not going to be saying much about that one. I really enjoyed a turntable tasting I did. I tried the Bittersweet Symphony. It is not actually the favorite turntable release that I tried. I actually purchased a bottle of their Starward collaboration turntable did. And track 1 and track 3 also really impressed me. Bittersweet Symphony was good, but it wasn't my pick for my favorite. However, really respect what Turntable's doing. Glad to see them represented in this category. I'm going to jump up to the Hibiki Harmony. I recently tried the Hibiki Harmony and the Hibiki Harmony 100th anniversary release. I understand that these have a lot of fans out there, and Japanese whiskey goes for a premium. As you can see, the price £75 in the UK. It's like $150 to $200 here in British Columbia. It's not a whiskey I've spent a whole lot of time with, but I really don't find myself wanting to purchase a bottle. And I think that's the greatest indication of how much I enjoy the samples and the pours of that when I try it. It's pretty, it's nice, it's very approachable, and it's just something that never really grabbed my attention. The Compass Box Glasgow Blend, I've had a number of bottlings from Kinston Wine Market when they've had their own bespoke versions of that. I've had the regular version. I've compared them side by side. I actually thought that the regular Glasgow Blend was really good compared to even the ones just done for the store. I really appreciate that whiskey, but I think what I struggle with is there's so much from Compass Box I would drink and buy over that. And even for blended scotches, there is a lot of blended scotch from Compass Box that I'd probably reach for before that. So it's not getting my vote, which leaves us with 2 left. Thompson Brothers TBBSW 6-year-old. I've had it, absolutely loved it. I put it head to head against the SRV5. You can watch that video if you want to hear more of my thoughts on that. And Maclean's Nose Blended Scotch. For me, this is tough. Thompson Brothers isn't sold in Canada. I've emailed Thompson Brothers to ask if they have plans of coming to Canada. They do not at this time because they just do not have enough stock to go around to every market. That's sad for me. I really respect what they do, and I've enjoyed everything I've tried. I enjoyed that bottling. If it was in my market, I'd buy it for sure. The only bottle on this list that I actually have in my possession is the Maclean's Nose Blended Scotch Whiskey. And for the price, man, that's really tough to beat. You can get that as low as on sale for $40 Canadian in my market. This is really tough, guys. It's a really tough decision. I enjoy both of these. I do just love the profile of the Maclean's nose. I know there's a lot of hype around it. It's like kind of like the darling pick. Lots of people have been talking about. Maybe it's been overhyped. I'm still gonna pick the Maclean's nose. I think it's amazing that they've been able to go ahead and get that into all the markets they have. The broad distribution, the consistency, the quality. I would probably rebuy that bottle for sure. So I'm gonna reach down and pull that one up. Maclean's nose, yeah, gorgeous presentation too. Can't say enough good about that bottle. Who do I think is gonna win? And I'm gonna put my check mark here on the Maclean's nose as we're talking about it. Who I think is gonna win? It's gonna be the Thompson Brothers TBB SW 6-year-old. I think they're gonna, just the popularity within the online Scotch whiskey community. I think Thompson Brothers has got it nailed. So yeah, I'm gonna cast my ballot for Maclean's nose. Thompson Brothers, I hope one day you get to Canada. But until then, yeah, Maclean's nose, you got my vote. Next category is Best Blended Malt Whiskey. Nominations are Campbelltown Loch Blended Malt from J. Mitchell, so Springbank. Yeah, what a blend. Okay, so 46% ABV on that blended malt. Compass Box Orchard House Blended Malt, 46% ABV. Some lovely whiskeys going into that one as well. McNair's 12-year-old Lumreek Blended Malt. I think there's some Glenallachie and Kalila in that. 46%. I love this trend of 46% ABV. It's great. Old Perth Cask Strength Blended Malt. Another fantastic value and great bottling on this list. There we have, once again, Thompson Brothers well represented with the Thompson Brothers 8-year-old North Highland Blended Malt, 44.5% ABV, and the Thompson Brothers SRV5 8-year-old Blended Malt. This is a murderer's row of fantastic blended malts. I've had the 12-year-old Lumreek. It is really nice whiskey. I don't think you could go wrong with any of these. I'm just gonna jump to where I'm gonna vote on this one after some thoughts. Compass Box Orchard House is something I always keep on my shelf. I think it's really approachable. It's really just the perfect spring and summer whiskey. Really appreciate that. Campbelltown Loch Blended Malt. If I could buy it in Canada, I would. I know it's had limited distribution out of Alberta. It sells out right away. I understand why. The mix of, Springbank, Hazelburn, Longrow, Kilkerran, Glengyle distillate, as well as some Glen, Scotia. Oh man, that's probably your best entry to Campbelltown malts right now. Especially in the UK, that price, £40. That's great choice. Thompson Brothers SRV5 8-year-old. I absolutely adored that whiskey. I loved what it brought to the table. That bottling strength, 48.5%. That's my favorite bottling strength, I think, of anything out there. Of course, it depends on the whiskey itself, but when I see 48.5, I'm pretty happy with that. I haven't had the Thompson Brothers 8-year-old North Highland blend. That's the only one on this list I haven't had. So seeing as I've had most, I'm gonna go ahead and vote. My vote for, I think, who should win this category, the samples I've had of it, I've really loved. It's going to be the Campbelltown Loch Blended Malt. Again, I just think it's the perfect introduction to Campbelltown. I love that you can still, like, the versions I tried of it were very upfront on the long row and maybe like Kilkerran heavily peated elements. It was just delicious. They were also a bit more sherried or had a bit more wine influence in them. It was just a delicious whiskey. It's tough for me to not give the vote to Orchard House or even the SRV5 8-year-old. Those were worthy contenders in this category too. Who do I think is going to win this category? Man, I think it is going to be the Campbelltown Loch, honestly. So I think both my winner and my prediction are going to be the Campbelltown Loch. I don't have a bottle. I'd love to add a bottle to my collection. Outside chance, I think, to the Thompson Brothers SRV5 8-year-old. I think they've got a chance of taking this one home too. All right, gonna cast my ballot, move on to the next. We've got Best Non-Malt Whiskey as the next category. We're gonna start with Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, Kentucky Straight Bourbon. ABVs are all over the place depending on the batch, but it is a legendary whiskey that people clamor to get. The Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Strength, again, multiple different ABVs. Another popular pick from the Zuidam, I think, Distillery in the Netherlands. Millstone 100% rye Dutch single rye whiskey, 50% ABV. Crazy price on that to me, in my mind, £98. That's way more than we pay here in Canada for it. But they are making probably the best rye whiskey in Europe. Really, really cool stuff coming from Millstone, as well as their single malt. Powers John's Lane 12-year-old single pot still Irish whiskey, 46% ABV. Love my Powers. Really great stuff. Followed by another Irish whiskey, the Redbreast 12-year-old cask strength. Again, many different ABVs on that, depending which batch you get. And finally, a classic Wild Turkey Rare Breed Kentucky Straight Bourbon, 58.4% ABV. Now, this is a tough category for me because I by far drink mostly malt whiskey, blended malt, single malt, and blended Scotch, as well as Canadian whiskeys. So this is a tougher one for me. I have not had Elijah Craig barrel proof. I have had the Jack Daniel's single barrel strengths. There's so much like differentiation between batches. It's really tough to pick just one of those. Millstone, again, I really respect what they're doing with their rye, but it's not going to take my vote in this category. My vote is going to go to, I mean, I've had the Powers John Lane 12-year-old. I appreciate it. Wild Turkey Rare Breed is one of those bourbons that you probably should just have on your shelf. But my vote is going to the Redbreast 12-year-old cask strength. I think that's the best thing that Redbreast puts out. I think the price on it is still really reasonable, especially in my market. It's getting my vote. It's probably the one I've had the most of. If I had to make a prediction, I think because most of the people voting in this are people who are very much drawn to malt, they're malt drinkers for the most part, I do think that Redbreast 12-year-old cask strength is probably the most similar to our given tastes. Outside chance to the Wild Turkey Rare Breed taking this category home, but yeah, Redbreast 12-year-old cask strength. That's getting my vote. Gonna go ahead, cast that ballot. Onward and upward. We're gonna get to one of the most difficult categories in the OSWAs this year, and that is Best Distillery. The nominees are Ardnamurchan Distillery, the Benromach Distillery, Glen Distillery, the makers of Kilkerran, Glen Scotia, Loch Lomond, and Kilchoman. Now, I love all of these distilleries, which is why it's such a difficult category to pick from. But let's talk about a few of these here. Number one, Ardnamurchan. I believe the community absolutely rallies around Ardnamurchan. We love what they do. And in fact, what I have in my glass here is, in honor of Roy, who's done such a great job of putting these together with Ralphie, I have in this glass here Roy's Ardnamurchan Barfly bottling, one of the 2 single casks he did. This is the blue Barfly. Cask number 0416 CK411. I'm really enjoying this whiskey tonight as we're recording this video. And I think we all just have a healthy admiration and appreciation of what Ardnamurchan does. They're very worthy of winning this distillery, as are, again, all these distilleries. They're not going to be getting my vote in this category, but I'm very tempted to give them my vote. So I'm enjoying them tonight. And thank you, Roy, for all you do for the community, for putting together the OSWAs along with Ralphie. Thank you, Ralphie. And for bottlings like this. It's being appreciated halfway around the world. Moving along with the nominations, the Glen Distillery, Kilkerran, Campbelltown, basically Springbank's other distillery. I've visited, I've toured it. It is a really cool place to see and visit, and I love the whiskey they make. I do love the fact that they got triple distilled Kilkerran. They have the Kilkerran, the regular style. They have Kilkerran heavily peated. I believe they even have possibly unpeated Kilkerran sitting in casks too, but don't quote me on that part. They've done great stuff, as has Glen Scotia. The versatility and I believe the quality is just increasing, getting better and better at Glen Scotia. I love what Ian McAllister's doing there. Loch Lomond, owned by the same company, Loch Lomond Group owns Glen Scotia. The amount of different styles, talking about versatility, can anyone make as many different styles of whiskey in one distillery as Loch Lomond can? And the products they're putting out with Steam and Fire, the 12-year-old, the 18, the 14, we're using Limousin oak, and their single cask. Their single cask program is fantastic, including the single cask from Kensington Wine Market I have in my collection. Really, really enjoy them. And Kilchoman, another distillery I visited and adore. Their 100% Islay barley is one of my favorite whiskeys from Islay. A true representation of the island. But my vote is going to be going to the people that I think make probably the best value and the best quality single casks if you're pairing those two things together, and that's the Benromach Distillery. I love their spirit of experimentation. I love their cask policy, using for the most part first fill, and hopefully for anything laid down for over, say, 25 years, they have some refill oak there. But I just adore the profile of Benromach. I love the heavily peated spirit. I love the moderately peated spirit that feels very much like the Springbank of Speyside, to use a cliche and something that people have been saying about them for a long time. Benromach Distillery, yeah, you're getting my vote. Who do I think will win this category? I should put my representative of Benromach on the table. It's a single cask from Kensington Wine Market. Again, they're single casks. I think they really set them apart. And they're just so available everywhere. I can't believe they sit on the shelf for as long as they do. Benromach, yeah, you got my vote. Who I think is going to win? I think Glengyle, Kilkerran, I think they're going to take it. With Springbank not in this category, I believe because of the Trifecta award, I do believe that people might just automatically slide over to the Glengyle Distillery. So that's why I think they're going to win this category. Next category is Best New Distillery. We talked about the Trifecta award in the last category. We also have to talk about trifectas here, as Ardnamurchan has won the Trifecta, winning 3 straight times for this category. I think they were just about to age out as well, so they won't be represented in it next year when they would have been eligible again. So Ardnamurchan, they just killed it with the Best New Distillery. So now they're not represented in this year's category. So the nominees are Ardnamurchan on Islay there. We have the Glasgow Distillery in Glasgow, the Ledaig Distillery on the Isle of Arran, Loch in the Lowlands, Isle of Raasay in the Highlands, and Tobermory on the Isle of Skye. Now, all these distilleries, the quality of the new distilleries in Scotland is just absolutely fantastic. Ardnamurchan's inaugural release, their 5-year-old, I've had it because I was kindly sent sample by Hexagonal Crank. Thank you, Hex. I've been loving that whiskey. It's really impressive. I am desperate for it to come out in Canada. I'm not going to be voting for Ardnamurchan in this category, not because their distillate isn't fantastic quality. I haven't enjoyed it. It's because they've only released 2 whiskeys so far, Infinite Loch being their follow-up to the inaugural release. And I just think that, man, there's so much going on with these other distilleries. There's just a little bit that separates them, sets them apart. But I could see Ardnamurchan as early as next year winning this category. Glasgow Distillery has had a lot of buzz in the barfly community, especially particular Manzanilla cask release, among others. I've enjoyed their peated release quite a bit. I have that on my shelf. The Ledaig Distillery, I haven't actually had anything from Ledaig yet. I know the Corey Cravey was quite popular along with some of the others, but I haven't had anything yet, so I can't be casting my ballot that direction. Loch, I've had example of everything, including their 5-year-old. I've had samples of. I really loved their sowing season and their hour barley because they were just so much. They put the distillate on display that much more. And I loved some of the characteristics of even, there was almost like a yogurt or slight cheesy note that I love from things like Bruichladdich. I found that in the Hour Barley and the Sowing Season. Really enjoyed those releases, but there was also quite a youthful note to almost everything, or just a reliance on heavy oaking. These are new distilleries. They're going to do things to make their whiskey more enjoyable sooner, so that's understandable. Isle of Raasay, I've enjoyed some of the Chinkapin Oak releases, single casks, peated and unpeated. I've enjoyed their first batch. I want to see more from them, but my vote's going to go to the newest distillery on the Isle of Skye. That's going to be the Tobermory Distillery. I was impressed with their Alt Glen. I have been impressed even more so with this whiskey here. Alt Glen batch strength from the cask, from their Legacy series. It is just a wonderful, heavily, I'd say heavily peated whiskey. I'm enjoying it. It's wonderfully coastal. I think it's a great challenge to Talisker. I think this is the only thing that could actually put Talisker on its heels and actually have to try harder. Who knows? Diageo, prove me wrong. Just consistently release great stuff. But Torvig, I've really enjoyed them. I want to try and try a sample of their sherried release as well. But yeah, I'm looking forward to more from Torvig. I love that they put so much confidence in the people working at the distillery to try different experimentations with their distillation process, getting to distill what they want for a certain number of weeks of the year and rotating through people that work there. There's a lot to love about this distillery and their ethic. Yeah, Torvig, they're taking my vote. So I'm going to go ahead and check that box. They're getting it. Who do I think is actually going to take home the award? I was thinking Ardnamurchan had an outside chance. Ledaig has a lot of lovers in the community. But Glasgow's been picking up a lot of momentum. I feel like I'm taking like a big swing here. But I'm gonna go with the Glasgow distillery. I think really on the heels of a lot of their more experimental stuff that's coming out. I know Vin from No Nonsense Whiskey has been loving a lot of their stuff. But I think particularly the Manzanilla cask release just opened people's eyes. I would love to try that. I'm going to suggest Glasgow is going to go ahead and take this award this year. Another one of the more difficult categories in this awards is going to be, for me, Best Independent Bottler. It's really tough. Nominees are Adelphi, Cadenheads, Gordon Macphail, North Star Spirits, Scotch Malt Whisky Society, and Thompson Brothers. Going through these here, Adelphi, I think, do great things. Obviously, the owners of the Ardnamurchan Distillery. I do find their single cask releases a bit more expensive. Their batched releases are oftentimes a bit more affordable. But for that reason, I do skip on a lot of their single casks. So I'm not getting my vote this time, though. I do own many Adelphi bottlings, and I do readily appreciate them. Cadenheads, I did a Cadenheads warehouse tasting when I was in Campbelltown. Love Cadenheads, love a lot of the bottlings they put out there for value picks, like their Bunnahabhain, their peated Bunnahabhains that are young, like 7, 8, 9 years. Really great values and really wonderful tasting whiskeys. And they got some really crazy stuff in their warehouses. Especially, I do like their Enigma line that they've been doing this year. Their Enigma 15, their Enigma 25, some of the others. Really cool whiskeys. So I really do appreciate them. Gordon Macphail is a great value independent bottler in Canada. We have fantastic prices on Gordon Macphail. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the importer, Authentic Wine and Spirits. They seem to do a fantastic job with bringing actually really reasonably priced whiskeys into our country. One of the few that do that. And I have a great appreciation for them for that reason, and their cask policy, their warehouses, and they have stocks like nobody else out there, including of closed distilleries. So I think Gordon Macphail can bottle almost anything anybody else could. They really have the broadest reach and the deepest cask stores. North Star Spirits, Ian Croucher, they're building the Dalriada distillery in Campbelltown. I have many North Star bottlings. Sometimes they're fantastic value. Other times, like a particular Williamson release, they seem to be a little bit out of line. But overall, I really appreciate them. They've won a number of accolades for what they do. Scotch Malt Whisky Society, I was a member. My membership has lapsed. I do find them just a little bit pricey in my country. Prices apparently are coming down on them in my country, but I just haven't had the same value there, though the quality always seems to be top notch. And I have, again, a number of bottlings on the shelf. And Thompson Brothers, we discussed, aren't imported into Canada, but I do admire from afar, and what I've had, I've really appreciated. Again, tough category, but my vote is going to be going to Gordon and Macphail, bringing in things like this 27-year-old 1995 Highland Park single cask from a refill sherry. But when this bottle hit, I couldn't believe the price. Again, they just bring great value into Canada. Amazing single casks. Amazing. Their distillery label series is fantastic. I can't say enough good about Gordon Macphail. and I've had some of their older, closed distillery bottlings, like a wonderful Glenvar. Yeah, can't say enough good. Gordon Macphail was always going to be getting my vote in this category. I wish I could vote for all of them, honestly. The Cadenheads and North Star. Who do I think's going to win? I think Thompson Brothers is probably going to win. I just feel like there's this zeitgeist surrounding Thompson Brothers right now. I feel like they're just killing it. They're making all the right decisions, except for not exporting to Canada. But I don't think that's going to hurt them too badly. I think Thompson Brothers will take this category. But my vote, yeah. Gordon Macphail, love what you're doing. Never stop. Never stopping. Coming to the category that I have the least experience with is Best World Whiskey. We got the Balcones Texas Single Malt here, 53% ABV. Probably the best known single malt in the United States. Maybe Westland is known as much, but Balcones is definitely a cult following. Indri Trini, the 3-wood Indian single malt. One of those bottlings that popped up everywhere on Whiskey Tube. It felt like everybody was being given bottles of that. I have tried that at the Victoria Whiskey Festival, bought it at 46% ABV. A fairly impressive bottling coming out of India. Cotswolds English single malt, 46% ABV. That is something I have not tried yet. The Nika Yoichi Japanese single malt, lightly peated single malt from the island of Hokkaido. In the north of Japan. Absolutely, really do love that whiskey. Wild Turkey Rare Breed, they popped up in a category earlier, 58.4% ABV, a classic Kentucky straight bourbon. And then White Peak Wireworks Bourbon Barrel English Single Malt Whiskey, 53.4% ABV. I've heard so much fantastic about Wireworks. I love that bottle design. I mean, it's just gorgeous. And something about them embracing bourbon barrels to show off their distillate really speaks to me. If I could get my hands on that, I am sure I would enjoy it and appreciate it, but I have not had it. So this is probably the category where I'm considering abstaining the most. However, I have still had at least half of these. I did once have Balcones, so I don't remember too much. But there is one of these whiskeys I actually absolutely adore. I adored it enough to buy the 10-year-old, which was very highly priced. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give a vote for the Nika Yoichi Japanese Single Malt. It's my favorite Japanese whiskey. I've reviewed it on the channel. I loved the 10-year-old. It is something that I think I'll just always keep buying from Japan because it's just the profile of that lightly peated distillate, along with just a lovely like almost like yuzu citrus fruit and just a beautiful malt character there. It's the only distillery I'm aware of that's still using coal-fired stills. Lost the love about Yoichi. That is going to get my vote. Who do I think is going to win this category? I mean, I feel like there was so much buzz about the Indri Trini that the 3-wood, I could see it taking it. Yeah, this is going to be a close category. I think, though, people are so familiar with the Wild Turkey Rare Breed. I'm going to say that they're going to take home the category. Wild Turkey Rare Breed, Kentucky Straight Bourbon, I think they're going to be your winners. But I'm going to cast my ballot here for the Nika Yoichi. We're on to the final category here, guys. Thank you so much for watching so far into this video. Thank you to my subscribers, anyone watching this video. It's been a really tough time just in this transition from our former home of Whiskey on the West Coast, the first home, to our new home. This is our temporary setup behind me here. So yeah, thank you for sticking with the channel. Thank you to my Patreon members. I want to get some content out there soon now that we finally have something set up to start filming. But yeah, last category here is Best Scotch Whisky. This is like the king of all categories on the OSWA. This is the big award. I believe Springbank won their Trifecta award for the Springbank 10-year-old in this category. So there's going to be a new winner this year, and there's some great competition. So let's get to the nominees. Anok, 24-year-old, single malt, 46% ABV, 150 pounds in the UK. I believe you could get that close to $225 Canadian in Alberta. What an insanely good whiskey. Okay, already coming out with a big opening salvo there from Anok. Ardnamurchan cask strength, single malt, 58.3% ABV. Another whiskey I have on my shelf I absolutely adore, though I do think I actually like the standard AD release a bit more than the cask strength, but I'm in the minority there. Benromach cask strength, 50% ABV, plus, I mean, it batches vary. My 2013 batch 1 that I had was actually my runner-up for my whiskey of the year last year, and only lost out to the Springbank 12 cask strength 100% bourbon release. Really, really love that. The Bunnahabhain cask strength 12-year-old, just a whiskey that I think they were on 3 or 4 years of editions of that, probably 3 years actually. But it's turned everyone's heads. Everyone seems to be loving it. I have a bottle of that. It's open. I've had a few pours. I'm enjoying it quite immensely. The Kilkerran 16-year-old single malt, 46% ABV, a whiskey that I had a sample of and have a bottle of myself. Something I really love. The 2023 edition was fantastic with the inclusion of rum casks. I was very suspicious of that, and they knocked it out of the park. So I'll never doubt what Glen does. They know what they're doing. And finally, the last nominee here, Ledaig 18-year-old single malt Scotch whiskey, 46.3% ABV. That's got that sherry finish on it. A whiskey I reviewed and wondered, is this the best value 18-year-old single malt out there? At least peated. All fantastic, well deserved. Potential winners here. It's really tough to look past that Anok 24. I think it's a real impressive whiskey, and it's a fantastic value. Benromach cask strength. I certainly adore that whiskey as well. And the Ledaig 18-year-old. My word. Again, guys, this is really tough. This is really, really difficult. But there's one whiskey that actually stuck out in my mind enough to make me go and say, I'm going to hunt this down on secondary if I have to. And that was the Kilkerran 16-year-old 2023 release, the one that included those rum casks. That's this bottle right here. Actually, sorry, it's not this bottle. This is, I believe, the 2022 release. I do have a bottle of the 2023. I hunted it down because in a lineup of Springbank whiskeys that I did blind, including the 10PX, I believe at that time, it stole the show. It absolutely stole the show. And I'm very much looking forward to opening up that bottle of whiskey. So I especially since it was done blind, I have to give it props. I have to give it kudos. That's my pick for this category. So I'm going to give the check mark right there. What whiskey do I think is going to win this category? Bunnahabhain 12 cask strength. I shouldn't doubt it. Same with Ardnamurchan cask strength. I feel like the Anok 24-year-old potentially should be the one taking home the category, but I think because of the lower cost, lower barrier to entry with 85 pounds instead of 150 pounds, Ledaig 18-year-old. This bottle right here, I think they're actually probably going to take home this category. I think it's gotten a lot of love from the community. I think people really appreciate that they haven't really jacked up the prices. And the flavor profile itself is just, it's moreish. When I tried it, I just wanted to drink more and more of it. It is a lovely whiskey that, I'm happy to have a bottle of here on the table. Thank you so much for watching this, guys. Please let me know in the comments down below as I cast my final ballot here. What choices did you vote for? Where am I way offside on my choices? Where do you think the OSWAs should go in the future? Do you have any suggestions for the OSWAs? Any changes you think should be made? Let me know any and all of your feedback in the comments below. I know this is a long video, but it's a fun topic, and so we got lots to talk about. Thank you for joining me once again. I'm going to lift up this Aquavitae Barflies single cask Ardnamurchan and toast to you guys. Thanks for sticking with the channel. Until next time, from the West Coast, slunge.